Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, how you doing, man? Is it hot as fuck over there in Florida?
It's actually not too bad right now, just because it rained a little while ago. So,
Oh,
but
so it's just
okay.
humid as fuck right now.
Brutal. Yeah.
I've been to Destin and then Jacksonville, and
Okay.
I felt that humidity there and the random rain.
Yeah, it does that every day right now. Rain every day around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and yeah, it gets pretty humid out.
Have you ever been to Welcome to Rockville they have out there in Jacksonville?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was last year's. It rained so hard they stopped it. They stopped mid-set during Kill Switch.
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And then
dude.
it paused for like 2-3 hours. I waited around. I wanted to catch the end of the night, so we hung out.
Oh, hell yeah. Nobody left.
Nah, definitely not.
Actually, me and a few other people may have hopped over and took all the beers just sitting around. They were like alone and afraid. They needed to be saved, man.
I saw that. I saw a lot of people here.
A small world, dude. Same
Yeah.
festival. That was a great festival still, though.
It was fantastic. Yeah, I wish Kill Switch got to play more. I was really hoping that we were going to get to see Howard do some guest vocals because, like, the Torch played earlier in the afternoon. But
They were supposed to.
yeah,
Howard was going to, and then canceled. Stopped.
that was the worst. I was hoping they were going to get to pick up where they left off, but I know there's so many bands. So
Yeah, they had to keep on their schedule and stuff like that because, like, I'm friends with Bad Flower, and they got completely shut out too, and so they had to keep moving on because, like, they're all set on their schedule. They can't stay around the whole day for driving time.
that's right. Yeah, and then I think the mayor ended up extending the curfew so Korn could get their set in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm glad they still did it, and most of the bands, like, I didn't get to catch Dorothy. Dorothy's a great female rock and roller girl. While She Sleeps completely had to cut their set because of it and everything. So, but still great show. Tool was amazing that second day too.
I only got to go
Sunday.
Yeah, I only got to go for that. I think it was that Friday, Saturday. So I only got to see. I got to see like the Torch, Hands Like Houses. I got to see part of Kill Switch, Beartooth, Korn. Forget who else played, but it was a good time. Aside from all the rain, I went the year before that too. It was pretty badass. So
Yeah, that was a great festival, dude. Well, dude, thank you so much for your time, man. And happy Wednesday afternoon for you. I hope you and the rest of the band are safe during all our craziness going on. As we're trying to stay sane through 2020 and, like, is it 2021 yet? Are we coming up yet?
wish they wake me up when it is.
But also congratulations on your guys' newest single you dropped last month. Dude, it's at 11,000 hits now in just a month. Like, it's getting some pretty good
Long by far. So yeah.
Yeah, and the editing for the music video, whoever did it was phenomenal. Great cuts, great post-production. It's a great video to tie into it as well.
Yeah, that's our buddy Aaron Berkshire. He does a lot of music videos and content creation for like a lot of bigger band stuff, and he's actually shot I think that's like our 5th or 6th music video with him. So that's our guy. So we'll have more of him very soon.
And then for the song itself, Comfortable Headache. So who wrote it and what's it about and all that good stuff for the meaning behind the song?
Well, I play guitar in the band. I do probably the most songwriting overall. The drummer and I usually we get together on the weekends and write most of the music and then send it over to our vocalist, let him come up with some ideas, some things he wants to change and stuff like that. So it's tough to speak for him, but I mean, from what I've asked him, I know it's like a personal thing, but it's more or less, I think, his main message of, kind of getting through the negativity and having a positive spin on it without going like over the top, like any kind of like vulgarity or anything like that. But yeah, and then as far as the song, it's definitely like our heaviest song. Like a lot of our other stuff is a lot lighter. We did a song prior that was kind of going more that direction. I kind of come from that background. But we wanted to try to do something more melodic, more listener friendly or radio friendly or whatever. And I ended up playing with like my older band that was like really, really heavy. We did some reunion shows and it kind of got me like really back into the heavy stuff. So I'm trying to mix kind of both worlds, so as far as the music's concerned.
I was gonna say, "Bruise the Truth" was pretty heavy on your guys' first EP. That was
Yeah, heaviest song on there for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting. I'm like, whoa, there's a big breakdown in here. Oh crap.
Yeah. We do little spots here and there, but now we're kind of more like we're more open to bringing that heavy side out now.
Sorry, my phone.
Up.
There you go. You see me now?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah. So you and Matt essentially started the band in the beginning, right?
That's right. Yep.
And that was back in 2018.
Player now too. He was the bass player that's in the band now too. We kind of all got together and jammed for quite a while. We could just never seem to get anything going. Finding the right vocalist, and played in a couple other bands, a couple other people, and then once we got our vocalist Tim, that's when things really started to kind of take off for us as far as like writing is concerned. We have like probably 35, 40 songs like just like saved up that we were just like, well, when we find the right guy one day, we'll be able to do something with it. So.
And you guys have Tim for lead vocalist is very dynamic and from clean and going into screaming and some guttural tones. It's like a good balance. Like you guys, inspiration wise, put down Tool, Slaves, and all that stuff. And I can even hear A Day to Remember kind of going in there with the clean and then also then the breakdowns and hardcore songs. So definitely a great vocalist for the choice.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I mean, more times than not, like what you're hearing, that's like 2-3 takes, and it's usually something that he gets prepared pretty quick. Like I think that song came together like in a week or so as far as the vocals are concerned. I mean, he knocked him out in like 2 hours. Like, he had the song for like a week after we sent it to him, and he just was like, I'm ready to do it. We're like, already? You sure? And yeah, he just came over 2 hours later. It was done. So.
And you guys were all spread out too, correct? You guys aren't all like close together?
Yeah. So I'm like in between everybody. I'm in Deltona, Florida, which is like 45 minutes southeast of Daytona, and it's like 45 minutes north of Orlando. So it's like dead center of the state. Our Tim, the vocalist, he's in St. Augustine, which is like just south of Jacksonville. And then our drummer Matt, he's in Orlando. So yeah, we usually meet up here. That's like the halfway point, buddy.
Okay. And so during this quarantine time, and have you guys been sending each other music digitally and kind of like going over stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten together a couple times too, just, obviously being, safe as can be. I mean, usually it just needs to be Matt and I for the most part when it comes to, like a writing session. And then as far as like, it's easy. We kind of got to quarantine him anyway, so that way the mic's not picking up any like cars driving by or anything crazy like that.
So. No honk. Get the hell out of my way, damn Prius drivers.
Yeah. Okay. Stuff.
So like I know it's every band has been different during this quarantine, has affected everyone differently. Do you think this has allowed you guys more time to step back and creatively focus on writing and music, or has it been you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I don't know why it keeps dimming out. Hold on 1 second. Damn technology.
I know.
So what I was saying was, so bands have either had a negative effect from the coronavirus, obviously financial reasons and touring and whatnot, but also maybe, so has it helped you guys creatively to slow down, write new music, come together, or have you guys kind of felt it was a weird pause and trying to force something creative to happen during this weird gap we're in?
I would say for us, it's probably been been okay for the most part. It definitely has let us focus more on songwriting, and there's really not the distraction of, oh, hey, we got this show offer, or oh, we're gonna do a photo shoot or anything like that. It really does make us focus on our music more, which, I mean, Comfortable Lake we wrote during all of this, and that's definitely had the best reaction overall, and I think it's one of our better songs, if not our best. So it seems to be working out for us for the moment. I mean, we have a lot of other stuff we've been working on too, and being able to focus on those things definitely helps, especially everybody's got full-time jobs. So like I said, like if a show's coming, then you're going to rehearse things like that. So with that out of the picture, that's what we got to do. We got to focus on songwriting.
Now, do you also think that during this quarantine, that bands have taken a flock to social media? Everyone's on it. Everyone's on their phones now more than ever. Do you find this a huge benefit for you to be exposed to a new fan base during this time?
Absolutely. In some ways, it kind of makes it almost kind of sort of a level playing field, because that's what people are doing. They can't go to concerts. So, they get the new record from their favorite band. They're going to listen to it, probably play it out after a while. So somewhere in that dark area, there might be a chance for check out this new band. And, so that's definitely been a positive for us, for sure. The social media, we've definitely been trying to focus on that a lot too, and market ourselves properly. And it definitely seems to be working out so far.
Oh, it has. I found you guys through Comfortable Headache on YouTube. I'm like, holy crap, these guys are freaking amazing talent. And of course, out of the Florida area, the great freaking metal section of the world. But it definitely is working, because now you're getting bigger exposure, not just U.S. wide, but worldwide.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even some of like the, looking at who's listening to us where in the world and stuff like that. Like, I'm just, wow, okay. That's cool. Like that. I mean, maybe they would have checked it out anyways if touring was still going on, or maybe, it's tough to say.
But you guys have been on some great supporting acts in your area too, as well. What I've seen, you guys have been with some big hitters.
Yeah, the last show we got to play was December, at the end of last year. Yeah, we got to play a sold-out show with Slaves, Fame on Fire, and it was great. We got to play like right before those guys went on, so it wasn't like a, playing first thing before anybody gets there type thing. And I think that, like that show, for instance, definitely kind of helped give us more of a local following too, because starting out stuff, you're playing kind of just to your girlfriends and the other bands. Yeah.
No, I gotta ask. I'm a Slaves fan too.
Yeah.
New Slaves or old Slaves?
That's a tough one. That is so hard, because I like the new singer a lot and I like the new songs a lot, but it was tough because I liked Johnny when he was in Amorosa, and then when they lost him, I was like, oh, bummer. And I actually like gave up on like Amorosa completely, and then after a while, I started listening to their other stuff, the new singer. I'm like, this stuff's not bad, and I like it. And so at first, when Johnny left Slaves or got kicked out or whatever, like I was just like, man, another band. But when I heard the first single with Matt, well, just them saying that, he was on The Voice and getting to check him out, I'm like, oh, this guy's got talent, and wonder how he writes. That'll be the big thing, and if he can sing Johnny's songs. But we saw them. That was my first time seeing him. Was that show we played with him? He killed it, and the new songs are great. They definitely stepped up songwriting wise, big time.
I'm listening to the album without the notation of thinking of Johnny was in the band. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. It's totally like a new band. Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate the music direction they're going with, and I do like the new music. There, hear me now? But do miss Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to catch him before he left. They did their acoustic show, their Christmas acoustic show. That was amazing. I was like, all right, cool.
I think I saw that. I was like, wow. Yeah. It was good. I've seen him with Johnny too. He's always great live.
Oh yeah, the dude's his voice is it's unreal what he can tap into when he's dialed in, sober, and ready to play. He's one of the best singers out there.
Yeah, can't take that from him.
Now going back into your guys' music, it's evolved over time as well, because you can get that Memphis Mayfire feel in there and whatnot, and like Polaris, and so from your guys' EP to now, you can hear the post production and almost the edgier catchiness kind of come out in these new singles.
Yeah, I would have to credit that to our producer, Jake Adkins. He runs his own studio out of Orlando. It's called South House Recordings, and then he's also the vocalist for a band called Wake Up Hate. And just check those guys out; they're great.
Hey, I see Tim just dropped on right now.
Yeah, there he is.
You were saying he was a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so like
yeah, our original bass player was our producer at first, and so the newer EP, the most recent 3 singles, has been all the stuff that Jake Adkins has been working on for us. So that's definitely been a big part of the progression for sure.
And so the newest singles for everyone out right now is Beneath the Surface, Between Empty and Apathy, and then of course Comfortable Headache. Now, what would you say has changed from the EP, your guys' self-titled EP back in 2018, to these 3 singles now? You can hear the sound, but what would you say has changed in the direction of the band?
I would say I hate saying because but it's definitely more mature in the sense that we're finding kind of what works for us, what doesn't. We listen a lot to like the feedback we get for a lot of the songs, like some of the singles we released before, somebody would be like, "Oh man, I thought this like heavy part was coming. You tricked me. It went into something else." So I would say we got, we're more open to being heavier. We're more open to having more stuff going on in the background with samples and things like that. And just trying to write better songs and not try to focus too much on being, I don't know, doing the riff salad, so to speak, like just forcing a riff here, forcing a fill there, just trying to have the song have a vibe and go with it.
You could definitely hear it. I understand what people were saying, if you could feel like leading into it and like, oh, I thought it was going to be a big breakdown, but it's like, I've listened to and appreciated music that like Slaves, stuff like that. They don't have heavy breakdowns. They're melodic, but they're deep and they have great tone and sound musically wise. And I think that's a perfect resemblance of your guys' sound. Like, it's not misleading in any way if you know what the music is already going to come up when you're hearing it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
So for going forth for new music and stuff like that, what else do you guys have in the pipeline after Comfortable Headache?
We have, actually right now we just finished up 2 newer songs that are we're gonna have Tim track vocals on here soon. Like the first one we did after Comfortable Headache, a lot different. It's more, I want to say, melodic and ambient. I'm like a big Deftones. I grew up a big Deftones guy, so that kind of style always kind of come out through my playing. And then the newest one that we just finished up, that one's a little more technical, guitar-wise. Not over the top or anything like that, but a little more focused on like the actual riffage, so to speak. But it's still, trying to have the proper structure and everything, but try to open it up shred-wise a little bit more.
No, as a guitar enthusiast myself, was you using in your music video, was it a ESP?
Yeah, it's an ESP E2.
Nice. And so is that your go-to? What would you say is like you play the most in at least your arsenal guitars?
So that's my newest guitar. I just got that one like 2 months ago or so. So that's my baby right now. I'm obsessed with that thing. But before that, I had an old trusty EC1000 I used to use with my old band like in the mid 2000s. That was it was kind of like that first EC1000 wave where it came with like Spurzels stock on it.
Yeah, okay.
Slightly slimmer neck on it than some of the other EC1000s I played. And then I have a Gibson Les Paul Studio that I've had since I was like when I first got my first job, I had to save like 3 years for it. But so that new ESP actually is like a perfect mix between the two. It's kind of got a little bit more chunk like the Les Paul Studio, but it's still got like the like the bevels in it, and the neck's a little slimmer like my EC. So yeah, I'd have to say my new ESP is my baby.
Now I gotta ask, what would you? It's always an interesting debate for guitar players. Active pickups versus passive pickups. What would you think?
For the style that we're doing, and for using high gain and the tuning, tuning down and stuff like that, I prefer the actives. In this situation, for pretty much anything else, I do like passives. Like my Les Paul Studio, I don't think I'll ever take stock pickups out. I think they're like the 490R or something like that, and they sound awesome. I recorded with my old band with it. We did like straight deathcore, and that's what I used. I studio through a VHC Pitbull and a 5150, and I always got compliments on that tone, so that always worked for me. But like the EMG 81 and my EC 1000, I know a lot of people hate them, but they've worked. I mean, when you like fly to another state to do a show or something like that, you don't know if you're gonna have a OG pedal, what kind of and the EMG works in that scenario. It's kind of like the safe bet.
Well, do you think now that with how music is evolving and you can just get any tone and sound pretty much, even with impulse effects, and put it in your freaking digital effects pedal and stuff like that, do you think these passive pickups can now compensate by having with these digital effects pedals built in your preamp, your cab, stimulus, and just get that chunky, deathcore, sludgy sound for just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go like the Pod Go. That's one of the new ones out right now.
Yeah, I think you can definitely do it. I've tried some of the aftermarket ones, and I like some of them, and some of them I've kind of not liked at all. But I mean, I tried some of the bare knuckle aftermaths, and I mean, they were a little dry, but when you turned up the gain, it compensated for it.
I'm a Seymour Duncan. I found myself always kind of drifting more to that side. I found I can get more chug out of the Seymours, but it's all how you set it up.
I love the Duncan Custom. I think that's probably like the dark horse pickup. Everybody kind of likes the bare knuckles, but the Custom sounds awesome. I love the Duncan Custom. I like the JB. I like the distortion. I'd like to try the Black Winter too at some point. That sounds like a badass pickup.
Well, for most of your guys' songs, what are you tuning in?
We're in drop A sharp.
Okay, dang, all right, getting down there.
on a single cut, because it's got the shorter scale, so it gets a little floppy, but you just got to go up on the gauges on the strings.
Do you think you're gonna ever go into and dab into the 7-string?
So when we started the band, before it was ever Common Vision, before we ever had Tim as the vocalist or anything, I was using a 7-string. I had the EC407, which was just the LTD Eclipse style 7-string, and that's the one that had bare knuckles in it. And I was just in drop A because it was so easy. It was like regular guitar, and then it just drop D with the the 7th string, and it was great. But we were going to have another guitar player, and then our bass player at the time, he wanted to use 6 strings, so I was like, I'll just tune up half step, and it's worked out so far. So,
I forgot who said it. It was like I forgot what guitar player said it. I saw it in a YouTube interview. He was saying that anyone who needs to play a 7-string is not a good 6-string player.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, like I'm not against using a 7-string at all. I mean, I even had an 8-string, but that was where I kind of drew the line. I was like, it's a little too much. The neck is just huge on it, and I like using a lot of different chords and things like that. And it wasn't really. It gets pretty muddy. You got to get all the way up to 7th fret before it starts sounding like a guitar to me again. Yeah.
So going back, guys, into music and whatnot. So with this, with these 3 singles, are they going to be added towards a EP coming out in later date, or are they going to be kind of standalone as singles?
Yeah, we'll probably include them on the EP. We probably would have had the EP out sooner, but it just seems to be working out, especially with the pandemic now, where you drop a single every couple of months and it keeps you very relevant, at least for us. You know, you drop like a whole bunch of songs, and then after a week, you kind of lose a little bit of that momentum. But I mean, even like I see Slaves is doing it too. I mean, they've put out, you know, like 5, 6 singles off of, you know, their full length, and it just, when people start forgetting about you, you drop another song off of it, and it kind of brings you back, you know, into everybody's mindset. So
That's what I was going to ask you next. Is this also quarantine has brought out bands steadily releasing stuff, like you said, to stay relevant, stay on that search engine button. Because it's actually kind of funny, even on YouTube, when you put in "comfortable headache," it's the first thing that pops in there when you say "current visions" on there, common visions. And also when it pops up, it gives you, "Oh, do you have pain relief problems?" on YouTube on the top bar.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think this is going to be a continuing trend now after coronavirus and we're out of this hell, that bands are going to keep doing this trickle effect to stay relevant?
I don't know. I think some will, and probably some. I know the bigger bands, you know, I'm bands that are already like well established. Like I know the Deftones have a new record coming out at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if they only like released like a single off of it or something, then just dropped all the songs at release day. But you know, I think bands that are trying to, you know, get their name out there and stuff like that, it definitely doesn't seem to hurt from what we've tried so far. And I see like I said, I see other bands doing it, and it's keeping them up at the top, keeping everybody fresh in their minds. So
I think it's a great way, and it should be. You know, especially now, the digital age, that's the way to go. You know, whether it be Bandcamp or whatever digital platform you're putting it on to get your music out there. But my biggest pet peeve, and it was kind of like that before too, some people would do it as they would release too many singles from their new album. Like say their album's released 5 months down the road, and 3 months into it, they've released 4 singles from that album. Now you kind of released half your album, and people have kind of overplayed those singles now, and now they're just getting kind of 5 more songs.
right, and then I know exactly what you mean, and you finally get it, and then you're skipping through all the songs that you've played out over the months. Absolutely, yeah. I think there's gonna have to be somewhere where if you can find the right balance, where you don't release too much of it, but you know you get enough out there to build it up and promote it properly. It's probably the optimal strategy.
Yeah. Exactly, or at least I love the idea, because there's always songs that never made the cut or whatnot. Make that, instead of having that digital edition where you have to pay extra for the extra 3 songs or whatever the fuck, you know, it's added part of the album. So now you're making it even a longer album. Now you're making the money's worth for this digital copy.
Yeah.
For you guys, are you guys going to go to the vinyl route too, like everybody kind of else is doing, or are you going to stick to straight CD, digital, and all that?
I would like to do the vinyl at some point, but I just don't think that we're just not quite, you know, I don't think there's too much of a demand for us to do that quite yet. But if somebody wants us to do it, I would definitely be down to do it.
There's even cassettes. Going back.
Well,
I was
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Dance Gavin Dance is doing cassettes. I'm like, dude, where are you going to buy a tape player at, man?
A long time since I've seen one of those.
I'm like, I don't want to flip it to the other side. I want to rewind it again, dude. I still have PTSD from that. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
For 2020 so far, what would you say has been some standout artists for you, like album wise and release wise?
Album wise and release wise. I like. There's a band from like my hometown. They just released something like a week or 2 ago. They're called If I Were You.
I was just listening to them this morning.
Yeah, they're from my hometown, and my buddy sent it to me, and I didn't know who they were, where they're from or whatever. And he had shown me their old stuff from their previous release, and I'm like, this stuff's really good. Who is this? And then I looked more into it, and then he was like, oh, did you check out the new record? So I've been listening to that, and it's pretty badass.
Now, kind of going into a perfect lead-in. Do you think? I don't think so. And there's another person who has spoken on YouTube, and he's done multiple videos saying rock is dying. I don't fucking think so. What do you see on your side as a band? Do you think the rock genre is dying out?
I don't think so. I know, like, hip hop, rap, pop, things like that, are kind of always the mainstream, and that's like a really big thing. But you can't, you know, rock, metal, things like that. It's an outlet, and I think once COVID-19 kind of whatever happens with that and shows start happening again, you'll see that you'll have sold out shows, tours, festivals, all that stuff again. That's like a whole, you know, the scene. It's almost like a lifestyle, you know. Anybody that's in it, you're in for many different things. You get an aggression out, or you relate to the lyrics and things like that. And it might just be something about, you know, like losing love or things like that. And,
Yeah.
you know, and you have that too in the genre of music, but there's more. I think there's more to it than that. And I think that whole scene, it's the whole industry, once this kind of clears its way and we get back to normal or some kind of normalcy, I think it'll go back and it'll thrive more than ever.
And it's like, if you look at it in a longevity wise, at the end of the day, 10 years from now, rock music kind of gets talking about on the dinner table more than 10 years ago, whatever pop single came out and was hit on the charts.
Right.
You know, put it 15, 20 years ago, TLC was, you know, don't go chasing waterfalls. But do you hear kids listening to that nowadays versus when at the same time Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine, Green Day, Tool are all dropping albums and they're still relevant today?
Yeah, absolutely. And even on the radio, I mean, I don't listen to a ton of radio, but like when I hear a radio station come on, I mean, they're still playing those songs and people are still requesting them and people are still listening to them. Like you said, Soundgarden, Tool, Korn, Deftones, whoever. I mean, I've even seen like a lot of stuff on the internet, people, you know, listening to all the old Limp Bizkit stuff again. It's like way back around, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, which I'm not even downplaying any of the artists back then. You know, they all respectively, every artist has their music and they have their fan base. I'm just speaking as a rocks, you know, fighting as a rock advocate. You know, it's not dying. It's still growing and expanding. I think the fan base and the bands, I think quarantine has brought out more bands now more than ever because more people have time to learn and play and focus on their trade now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot more time now than ever. I mean, maybe I was distracted by other things, but now you can't really go anywhere or do anything. So I'm going to play my guitar. I'm going to, you know, try to improve, or I'm going to try to write, or, you know, so yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Well, dude, thank you so much for your time, man. And it was a pleasure. And thank you, Tim, for hopping up on there. We didn't talk too much crap about you. I didn't say nothing. He said you're weak. I didn't say it.
Love you, Tim.
For everybody else watching and whatnot, when do you think people can expect a new drop? Is there going to be a new single before an EP, or is there just going to be an EP coming out?
Yeah, there'll definitely be another single before the EP drops. Absolutely. I would say probably end of summer, early fall. That's probably a safe bet.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. Look for it coming around in fall. And had them on your playlist. I had them on my workout playlist this morning. I took a couple of pre-workouts, maybe snorted it a bit to get jacked up.
the instant pump.
But also, this video will be up for 24 hours on my Instagram page because it's how Instagram now has. It's weird now they changed it up. You can't have a live story saved. You put it on your timeline now or whatever. But it'll be on my Instagram for 24 hours. After which I'm going to be editing it and putting it on YouTube to make it look pretty, and you know, put some makeup on them. You know, make them look more beautiful.
Out here sweating in the humidity.
And then add also their music links, you know, their Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, all that stuff. If he has an OnlyFans account, you know, everyone needs money. You know, you got to support them, yo.
A lot of money on him. I've thought about it. I don't want to see that.
But dude, thank you so much again, AJ. Absolute pleasure, and I look forward to hearing when you guys coming out more, and then hopefully catching whenever we can do shows again. Yeah, I love Florida. I've only been there a few times, and another band I'm friends with, Mindscar, they're out there too as well. They're more death metal, heavy metal. So nice. Actually, Matt Heafy of Trivium was originally part of that band as well. So
that sounds familiar. Yep.
They have definitely a big sound. So I got there's some good bands out there, and hopefully I can catch you guys out there too.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. Definitely. We'll get you in, come hang out, party with us.
All right, brother. Well, you guys both stay safe, and everybody else in the band as well. I hope you have a great rest of your week and your Wednesday, and try to stay kind of cool during the humidity in Florida.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back inside to the AC.
Well, thank you again, brother. And I'll have this open up probably within the next 2 days. I'll have it edited and have the link and all their stuff posted down for you guys to check out.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, man. And I'll continue to bump your guys' music because it's fucking awesome, especially their older stuff and their new stuff. They're a banger. I give them 2 horns up. Check them out right now.
All right.
Later, brother.
All right, man. Take care. Stay safe.